We'll start first with, we have a 53-year-old male who came to us with extreme anxiety. Well, actually, his wife had been coming to us first, and she brought him along. And he was very guarded at first about it all. He came with extreme anxiety, fatigue, low self-esteem, had difficulty breathing, and a really stressful job, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
So his breath was like, his whole spine was super rock solid. Kyphosis. Had no movement at all, just over the heart. After what, 4 sessions?
Yeah, during the first session, he just shook violently throughout the whole session to the point we thought he was going to fall off. Like the table was rocking. He had these extreme tremors. He'd also had a really hard childhood growing up, and so he had a lot of trauma in there. So after the first 4 sessions, he no longer shook, no more tremors, and his breathing is much easier. He's completed 8 sessions to date. His anxiety's much less.
Yeah, so his anxiety's a lot less. His kyphosis has dropped. Okay, so his back's a lot more flexible. He's got a lot more movement in it. The tension in his muscle down his rectors have softened. So he's really supple in the spine now. So pretty happy with what's going on. No more shaking. He's normally he had like head shaking. His head would shake, and then the whole body would shake. He's telling us now that his anxiety's dropped right off. He still gets a little bit anxious, but he said his anxiety's dropped off, and his breathing's picked right up. So I think a lot of it was panic because he could hardly breathe, to the point of his breath was so short, it was just in, out, in, out, in, out. And that's how he was like when he first turned up.
Stuck in fight and flight, hey?
Big time.
All that, like when you said, like, his spine is rock solid, like, the spine is supposed to be flexible and moving, because that's where, looking at the nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord needs to come through, and it needs to come through a movable spinal column. And when that's rock solid stuck, it's hard to breathe. It makes sense that his body's in fight, flight. And then anxiety, like, that's a byproduct. It's like, if everything's stuck and locked in. And the other thing we need to remember is that that's a really smart response of the body. Like, there's a reason for it. It's protecting him, but it doesn't mean we can live life. And so, like, for him to come to you guys and have those sessions and be able to release that stress, everything changes. Like, I love that his world is, and just imagine how many people are out there with these rock solid spines and not being able to breathe and having anxiety, but not knowing that, hey, there's a reason for this, and there's a way forward out of it as well.
Yeah.
I think he's feeling those options now. I think the relationship in the family's a lot easier now, especially without that panic, full-time panic all the time, because he couldn't breathe. So he's looking after his kids and that as well. So there's more freedom in the family and in the others. So it's reflecting back through the family as well.
The whole spin-off effect, hey?
So it's massive what we're doing.
Well, that's what we're going to do. Like, you change one person, it helps the family, it helps the community. Like, it does spin off, because when we feel better in ourselves, we're more available. There's more of us to share or be. Oh, that's awesome. That's
we love what we do because of the outcome. We can see it all coming, and you can actually see it as it's happening.